welcome to My Nightmare. Today's video, my top 10 favorite erotic thrillers. I love top 10 videos, but there always seems to be a few subgenres that are overlooked for one reason or the other. Erotic thrillers, I think, are one of those overlooked subgenres. So I'm going to do it justice here with the top 10. And just as a reminder, this is a list of my personal favorites, and I tend to like B movies, and so there's probably a few on here that you've never heard of before, but I also threw in a couple classics as well. Alright, let's get into the rankings.
What a tie.
Burke believed, okay, she was having an affair.
Alright, coming in at number 10 is Mortal Passions, starring Zach Galligan from Gremlins. This movie was released in 1989, and this is the most campy film on the list. If you're a fan of late 80s cheese, then this is the movie for you. Mortal Passions resembles a low-budget neo-noir with a very disturbing plotline, and what I love most about this movie is the aesthetics, as well as the music. Okay, at number 9 I have Zebra Lounge, released in 2001 and starring Stephen Baldwin. This film has much more style than the previous entry, and the storyline is very dark and shocking, which is why I like this movie. The plot basically depicts a typical suburban family whose lives become upended after they decide to start swinging with another couple. Number 8, I have Sins of Desire, released in 1993 and starring Tanya Roberts. This is a low-budget film that was released direct-to-video, and it's particularly hard to find. It's actually hard to find any information about this online. The star, Tanya Roberts, starred in lots of these direct-to-video erotic thrillers, and she's considered somewhat of a B-movie queen.
War is poison, beauty with a vengeance.
Number 7 is Poison, also known as Midnight Vendetta. I don't know why it has two names. Released in 2001 and starring Carrie Werr, who is also known as somewhat of a B-movie queen. This film has a very twisted plotline. Essentially, Carrie Werr's character seduces an entire family in order to turn them against one another. Number 6 is Scorned, released in 1993 and starring another B-movie queen, Shannon Tweed. This movie has essentially the same plotline as the previous entry, Poison, where Shannon Tweed's character attempts to seduce and destroy an entire family. However, I ranked this movie higher than Poison because the actress Shannon Tweed has had much more influence on the genre.
Where would I send you?
Someone was.
Number 5, I have Sliver, released in 1993 and starring Sharon Stone and William Baldwin. This is the first movie on the list that actually had a large budget, and you can tell because the cinematography is excellent in this movie. As far as the screenplay for this film, it follows a similar format as a mystery. Basically, there's a killer on the loose, and the plot keeps you guessing as to who it is. I would have rated this movie higher, but I did not like William Baldwin in this movie. Sharon Stone was great, though.
Hi, are you Allison Jones? I'm Hedra Carlson. Hedra? That's...
Number 4 is Single White Female, released in 1992 and starring Bridget Fonda and Jennifer Jason Leigh, who, by the way, is one of my favorites. This movie does not get the love that it deserves. Its online ratings are sort of mediocre, but I really like this movie. The screenplay for this film is disturbing, which is actually what I like about erotic thrillers. The plot is essentially about obsession and how obsession can morph into something completely horrifying.
Someone's following you. I know.
Number 3 is Body Double. This is a real classic right here. Released in 1984 and starring a bunch of actors I've never heard of before except for Melanie Griffith. This movie is a lot of fun. The plot has so many twists and turns. As soon as you think you've got it all figured out, something changes. And similar to the previous entry, this film is about obsession and the unintended consequences that come with it. Okay, at the number 2 spot I have Basic Instinct, released in 1992 and starring Sharon Stone and Michael Douglas. I don't care what anyone says, this is a near perfect erotic thriller and Sharon Stone's character is the perfect femme fatale. Plot and dialogue of this film do a great job of keeping the viewer on the edge of their seats, and the storyline for this movie is really like one big game, and Sharon Stone's character is the ultimate game master. The moment you've all been waiting for, number 1 is Body Heat. What a fantastic movie. Released in 1981 and starring Kathleen Turner and William Hurt. And Mickey Rourke also has a small role in this film. This is one of the first films that could truly be considered an erotic thriller. It contains all of the necessary elements, including having a femme fatale, the fall guy, and a shocking twist ending. The story shows how love and passion can blind a man into being manipulated by a ruthless woman, and it's very entertaining to watch. Okay, so there you have it, my top 10 favorite erotic thrillers. Do you agree or disagree with any of these movies? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you have any recommendations, let me know those as well. That's it for now. Tune in next week.